Hey dolls, so I am back. So this is going to be a video on this hair, and I did these dramatic swirly type baby hairs. This is actually a closure, not a frontal. So if you want to see where this hair is from and how I styled it and slayed it, then keep on watching. Okay dolls, so this hair is from Amanda Hair. This is the box. It's really pretty. It has like an ombre vibe to it. Sorry, the lighting just went in and out, but okay, so this is how the hair came in this bag. And this is a 26-inch deep wave wig. Y'all know I love deep wave for my curly because it's just like the perfect curl for me. And in the box, really simple, all I got is some wig caps. I did use a wig cap, but I didn't use the ones that came in the box, so that pretty much sums it up. But this is a 5x5 closure wig. So the closure goes from here to here, so it is a lot larger than just the typical 4x4. So you do have a little bit more room to play with and make it look even more so like a frontal would look. I'm gonna turn these lights because I feel like they're making it too bright. But yeah, so that's what I did to get this look. I just put the closure to the side, which you will see in the video, and then I also do show you how I do my baby hairs. This is the first time I've ever did exaggerated swirly type baby hairs, and you really just have to go with the flow and kind of see what looks cute and what works for you, and like with your head shape and everything like that. And I kind of just played around with it and did the baby hairs as such as you see, and I think they turned out so good. One key that I would tell y'all is to definitely use the little comb in on your edge brush. Like for these kind of swoops, I like to use the brush part, but also using that comb really helps to define and break up the hairs where they kind of look more so like hairs instead of just clumped into one. But yeah, especially like to do these little swirls, you have to use the comb piece. That's what makes it easier to do. So yeah, I'm just getting ready for the day. It's Memorial Weekend, so we're gonna kick off the weekend. It's Sunday, and yeah, we're gonna do a little party today. So yeah, that is this hair. If y'all want to see how I got this look, then keep on watching. Okay dolls, so this is how the wig looks. It does have two combs at the top on the sides, and then it also does have a comb in the back, and the wig does have adjustable straps. So this is how the lace looked. So I did decide to go ahead and tint the lace, and I'm just using my lace tinting spray from Wig Dealer. So yeah, I'm just spraying it down, and it is like a liquidy kind of spray. So I'm just going to spray it and then blow dry in between. I did a few layers to build the color up, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the wig on. Now with this 5x5 closure wig, I decided that I wanted to do a side part, and since it is 5x5, you have a little bit more space to play with, so it makes it a little easier to do a side part. So I went ahead and did a side part, which is also going to make the wig give like a frontal type vibe, even though it is a closure. And then I was like, well, let me just do the ball cap type method, but I will just do it for the area where I'm going to be applying the closure, because there's no need to do it all the way across because you're not doing a full frontal, plus the other areas where it is down it, like it doesn't even make sense because you're not going to be putting lace on top of it. So I just did it for the section where the closure is going to go. So I'm just spraying it down with my Got To Be spray and then blow drying, and then I did another layer in between, and then I'm going to blow dry once again so that it can be nice and dry before I go in and start to cut off the excess cap that is there. So I'm taking an eyebrow razor or archer, and I'm just going to start cutting off the extra cap. I like to do a line like kind of down the center part, and then I go in and start to cut off the extra cap, and I try to get as close as possible. There is going to still be some extra cap there, but I like to take a really small pair of scissors and trim that off. And also another tip, if you have a brand new eyebrow razor, the sharper it is the better, because it will cut the cap off so much more smoother if the blade is more sharp. So if it's an older one and the blade is getting a little dull, it's not gonna cut the best. So I like to keep these on hand. But yeah, so now I'm just taking my scissors. These are actually like sewing type scissors, and they're really sharp and they're small, so they work really good to get right in there. So I'm just trimming off that excess cap. And I got it pretty close. So you definitely want to seal this back down. Most people would use like a lace glue, but I don't use glue. So I'm just using my Got2b spray once again. And sometimes whenever I do it this way, I notice the cap tries to start lifting up. But yeah, so it's pretty laid, but I was like, no, it's not really like a perfect skin tone match. So I was like, let me just try this lace tint spray on top, because the tint spray works and matches my skin pretty good, right? Well, it's liquid. So, you know, with the liquid, it's going to kind of remove any hairspray that you've put down, you know, just like when you remove your wig with water whenever you've used gel or hairspray. So this was not a good idea because it did make my cap start to roll back, but I would say just tint it first, then lay it down, like blow dry it, make sure everything is dry, and then lay it down, and that would work out much better. So I'll probably try that the next time I want to do this kind of method. But yeah, so now I'm going to start cutting off these little tabs on the side where the lace is like sandwiched together and doubled up, because this part does not lay the best because it's like a thicker piece of lace. So I like to just go ahead and remove that off of the closure so that my wig can lay nice and flat. So now I'm going to take my wig dealer melting spray and just spray down the whole area where my closure is at. They do recommend that you go section by section, but since it's not a frontal, I don't really see it to be a big deal. And also, even when I've used it for a frontal, I just sprayed the whole thing down and it still worked out perfectly fine. I really like this spray because even whenever I go in with like my wrapping mousse and I'm doing my baby hairs and stuff, the lace is not lifting up like some other hairsprays tend to do, because, you know, whenever you use water, it's going to start lifting, or anything that's more liquidy and watery. But with this spray, I find that it lays down really good. So after I spray it down a couple of times and blow dry it, I'm going to start removing the excess lace. So you will just see me kind of lifting up anywhere where the spray kind of dripped down and the lace got laid lower than what we wanted it to. I'm going to cut as close to the hairline as possible and try to go in zigzag type motions, you know, trying not to just cut it straight across, and getting as close to the hairline as possible. So you can already see it's pretty laid. You can see that little bit of a line where I have pulled it up to cut off the extra lace, but no worries, we will lay that down. And also the lace color was not a perfect match, but I feel like it's not from the lace spray, it's just that the lace wasn't a perfect match from the beginning. I don't think this was like an HD or a transparent lace. I don't believe so. So yeah, now I'm just going to take the spray once again and just spray down the hairline to just get rid of any of those little ashy looking pieces that are kind of lifted up. So once I spray it all down and everything looks more melted, I'm going to go in and blow dry it down once again to make sure that everything is holding the way that it should be. And then I'm going to take my elastic band, tie it down, and then come back and remove it. You want to let it sit on for a while, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, however long you have, and then come back and remove it, and it's going to make your lace be really melted. You can already tell that the lace is not like a perfect match because you can see that demarcation line, but we're going to fix that later. So I'm just going in and kind of parting my hair so that it will swoop around the back area and give like a curved part instead of just being straight. So yeah, and I'm just using a large rat tail comb to do so. I really love these kind of combs, but not necessarily for parting, but it worked out fine. So I'm just going to take my hot comb and start to define the hair and get it to go in the way that I want it to. It's kind of just molding the hair into place, and I haven't used any additional product on the hair or anything like that yet. It's just kind of shaping the hair and training it to go the way that I want it to go for this particular style. So once I have done that, then I'm going to go in and use a product to really, really lay it down. And this is just a wax stick. Gotta have a wax stick, any kind of wax stick, just something that is going to really melt whenever you're using your hot comb to get the area to lay nice and flat. And it also gives the hair a really nice natural kind of shine to it. So I'm just using my wax stick, and then I'm going in with the hot comb and just brushing everything back into place, or combing everything back into place with the hot comb. So yeah, back in the day, I used to just use like water for this kind of, you know, molding, and then just tie the hair down. But a hot comb definitely makes a difference. So I would say if you wear lace wigs or closures or whatever, you definitely should get a hot comb, because it's just going to make life so much easier. So yeah, now I'm going to go in and part off the baby hairs. The first front area is a little bit crunchy from where I have put the hairspray at, but it does comb out pretty easily. Like, it looks like I'm struggling a lot to kind of pull them down, but it's really not that bad. So they are a little crunchy. They do have some product in them, but that's okay. I just go in with the comb end of my edge brush, and I'm just going to comb it out. So all of that extra hairspray that's making it kind of crunchy is being combed out, and then the baby hairs will be flexible and easy to move and cut and style into place how I want them to be. So for this part, I did leave a lot of clips in, just because sometimes you don't know how you want to wear your baby hairs, but you know that you want some baby hairs for the style that you're doing. Now, at first I was going to do like a very simple, short, kind of just laid down baby hair kind of look, not really a lot of swoops and stuff, because I had saw some pics that looked similar, you know, where the baby hairs were just there, not really doing too much, just really short and kind of wispy. But you will see once I start to lay mine, I wasn't feeling it. So I'm just going in and cutting the hair off with the eyebrow razor. And I start off a little bit longer, because sometimes you prefer a longer baby hair and sometimes you prefer a shorter one. It just really depends on what kind of mood you're in and what kind of baby hairs you're going for, because sometimes I do prefer to leave them longer, and then you can use like a little flat iron and curl them and then style them or whatever. Or sometimes I prefer for them to be shorter and just swoop them into place, or whatever the case. So yeah, you know, personal preference if you even want to do baby hairs, but you can decide if you want them longer or shorter or whatnot. So right now, the way that they are, it was just too long for the style that I was going for initially. So yeah, I just kind of like molded them into place a little bit with the wrapping mousse, and then I was kind of like swooping them a little bit, seeing what it's giving, and I'm like, nah, these still too long. So I go back in with my eyebrow razor, and I'm just going to start cutting off more of the hair and just trimming them down. So I left all of this in just so y'all can see like trial and error, and you know, like the real process of how things are, because sometimes you don't go in and trim them down and just lay them and everything is, you know, done on the first try. Like sometimes you go in and cut them, it's too long, you go back and cut some more, you do one style of baby hairs, you comb it out, you do something else. Like, you know, it's not always just what it is, like you do it and it's done. No, sometimes you redo things. So yeah, I'm just going in, trimming down more, and then I'm like kind of styling them, seeing what it's giving. And then at some point after I cut down this other side is when I decided like, okay, I know kind of like how I'm gonna do my baby hairs, and I just kind of start to lay them section by section, and then that kind of determines what I'm gonna do. Like I didn't see an inspo pic or anything for these swirly type baby hairs, and honestly it's really not what I was planning to do. But I was like, okay, after I did this first little swoop, I'm like, I have to do something and make this work. The baby hairs are quite short, so you know, personal preference if you want yours this short or if you want to leave them longer. But I feel like it turned out pretty perfect for this style that I did. So as you can see, I just did one swoop going up into, you know, like where my hair is parted to the side. And then I am doing the other little swoop. And now I'm like, okay, this little piece right here will be cute to do in a little circular type swoop, you know. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying it. I'm doing it with the brush because I hadn't done these before really at all. So then I was like, let me try the comb, and I'm just playing around with it. And I'm like, okay, this is working better, but the mousse is not really holding the hair in place the best. So what I did was I decided to grab some of my Eco Styling Gel and then start to smooth it back into place. And the comb just really makes a difference. Like, I feel like you have to use a comb for this, but I'm sure some people can use the brush part and it works fine for them. But I feel like that comb piece really just separates the hairs and helps you to lay it perfectly how you want it to be. So I'm just playing around with everything and kind of relaying that little front section. And then I'm playing around to see what I'm going to do on the other side, because I could have just left it kind of how it is. But, you know, I decided to do some artistic type of baby hair. So I did 2 of the little curly cues and then just like some regular swoop back baby hairs like I would normally do. And also, I do go in and pluck as well in between laying the baby hairs, because sometimes the hair is not laying right or it's just too thick in certain areas. So I like to thin it out and give it like a little bit more of a natural vibe, if you will. So I'm just swooping this. Once again, I left all of this in just so y'all can see, you know, what was really going on. Okay, so then on this side I'm going back in with that comb and just kind of swooping it, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do a little curly cue right here. So I'm just molding it into place and making a swirl with the hair. As you can see, at first it's not giving a swirl, but then you just keep playing around with it and molding it into place, and then you will get your little swirl. And then on this side I was like, I'm gonna do a little swoop push back and then another swoop push back to cover like where that track area is at, and then boom, this side will be completed. So yeah, I went back in and just polished everything back up, of course, but that is pretty much the gist of doing the baby hairs. And y'all, I've been doing this voiceover from the beginning, so 17 minutes I've been on here talking. Okay, so now that I have the baby hairs molded into place, now I'm going to take my hot comb once again and just start hot combing everything back into place and just kind of like molding the hair and stuff and seeing what it's giving with the baby hairs. And I'm like, all right, that's cute. Like, it's giving summer vibes, especially because it's like a curly texture. But as you can see, the hair is kind of like wild and all over the place because I haven't defined the curls. So what I did was I went to the sink and actually wet my hair, because it's just faster than using a spray bottle to spray every little section. And once I have wet the hair down really good, I go in with a detangling brush and comb the hair out completely. And I gave the hair a little scrunch. And I also did use the Hawaiian Silky like 14-in-1 type leave-in conditioner type product. And I used that on the hair as my leave-in conditioner or styler for the hair. I just used a little bit of that and, you know, mix with the water and comb the hair out. And then I'm going to scrunch it and let the hair air dry. So I just left the hair alone, and now I'm back. The hair is partially, you know, like almost dry. So then I'm going to take some concealer and start to define my part. Don't forget to do these finishing touches, because these definitely help to make your style pop. Like, even though you already got the baby hairs, you already got the curls popping, like, don't forget to define your part and also, you know, correct any lace or anything like if it doesn't match. So you can see how my lace looks right now. I'm going to take my powder and just pat it on top of the lace area in the front, and you will see the difference that it makes once everything is done. So please don't forget to do these last steps, because they can definitely make or break your install. Like, everything else is cute, but don't forget this part, okay? So I'm just patting it on and covering, and you can already see, like, from one side to the other, the difference that it makes. It does blend into my skin tone much more, and it looks more like my scalp, because it was given a little bit too dark to be my scalp color, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm just going to keep patting this on all over the lace area. and you want to do all of the sections, even though some parts on the side aren't gonna really be seen because the hair is gonna cover. But just in case the wind blows, honey, you want to have all your bases covered. So I'm just gonna pat this all on everywhere, and then I'm gonna take my wrapping mousse once again and just wet down the whole area. And this is going to allow the powder and the concealer to just sink into the lace, just like if you were to set your makeup on your face with a setting spray, how it melts those powders down and they just look more skin-like. This is going to do the same thing for your lace, okay? So don't forget this either. You can use like just regular water in a spray bottle to do this, but I like to use my wrapping mousse. I feel like it does the job. So yeah, and it's not wetting the hair so much like water would, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm just going to blow dry that so everything can start to melt into place. And you can already see like how the part looks, and the front part is already giving more of a scalp type vibe, if you will. So yeah, after I'm done with that, I'm going to go back in with my hot comb. Once again, always using this hot comb. Be careful with it, y'all. It's hot, and I turn mine all the way up. So I'm just pushing the hair back because I wanted that kind of pushed back look in the front, and then just laying the other side down nice and flat. And then I'm also going to kind of separate my curls a little bit and just make the hair look a little bit bigger, because I felt like it was just a little too defined, if you will. Like I still wanted it defined and not frizzy, but I'm just going to kind of shake the hair loose a little bit to give it a little bit more volume. Like just kind of doing this motion is just going to kind of separate those curls a little bit. So this is what it's giving. Like you can see, it's already a little bit fuller just from me doing that. But then I was like, okay, still on the finishing touches. Don't forget this step either. I needed to face frame the front of my hair, because also doing a face frame or a little bit of layers on your hair make a difference, and it just makes it look way more professional, because most people don't do this extra step. So it's not going to look like it was done at home if you take all of these extra steps. So I'm just going to do a little bit of face framing layers. I'm not layering the whole wig or my whole head or anything. I'm just layering the front, giving it a little bit of face framing layers. And this just, I don't know, it just spices up a wig, even when the wig is straight or curly, or if you have curls in it or whatever the case. And then I'm also going to go in and wet that down and let that dry, because I don't want it to look freshly cut. I want it to look still defined like the rest of the hair. So this is what it's given. Stay tuned for the rest of the video. And I did an outfit for y'all. Okay, dolls, so this is the completed look of the hair. I do want to back up so you can see. So this is how long the hair falls. It's 26 inches, so it's like the perfect length, if you can see. And if I stand up, it comes like right on top of my butt. It falls really nice and everything like that, and it turned out so cute. Like, I've never done this before, so it's definitely different for me. And it's kind of like, do I not like the swirly baby hairs? Is it giving clown vibes? Does it look crazy? What do y'all think? Let me know down below. I think it turned out cute, and I think it looks cute and different. Something cute for the summertime. Yeah, I'm debating, like, should I thin this out? But then I'm like, no, it looks cute. Like, let me know what y'all think about these dramatic type baby hairs, and if you would try them out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If y'all have questions, leave them down below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.
J. Rossi made the beat.